I just finished a coaching call with a client and we've been discussing different ways to handle SaaS objections. So in this video, I want to walk you through the top 3 objections that you are gonna be always facing in your B2B SaaS journey, and I will give you some of the easiest ways you can handle them to still end up with closing deals on your call. So the first one is, let me think about it. You face it in 90% of time if you did not get them to accept everything using your check-ins throughout the call. So the reason they would be saying, let me think about it, is either, it's basically meaning that they are not aligned with some of the things that happened previously when you were pitching them. And if you pitched them wrong, this was connected to you having poor discovery, because you having done great discovery process, you would know exactly what you need to tell them, and this would enable you to not have this one objection, not face it. So if you did face this one, you want to first create the environment that is completely fine, and instead of you just going what's there to think about, which would be slightly offensive, you want to relax the situation. So say it's totally okay, bring up the thing that has been same for existing customer and in reality it turned out to be ABC, and then find the real objection. With every single one I'll be covering in this video, the point is that you can find the real objection, which is actually preventing them from saying yes right now on the spot. You know, a bunch of our current customers, when we were on this call, mentioned they want to think about it, but in reality they just had 1 or 2 remaining questions unanswered in their head. So curious, what are those 1 or 2 things bothering you? This allows you to smoothen the situation and actually get to understand this couple things which are still bothering them, instead of asking them to directly. Once they bring up something like, yeah, it's just the setup process is not completely clear for us, that's what you address. And just the thing you need to be aware of is, once you start commenting on those information, don't get too excited, because another mistake I see founders make too often is, imagine they say something like, oh, the setup process is not really clear for us. Oh, okay, because the setup process is going to be this, that, and that, and then they keep on saying another like 5 or 10 minutes of information and stuff and other stuff, which in the end brings up even more questions in the customer head, and you don't want this. So you want to make sure you address this and then you shut up. Typically 20 or 30 seconds, all that's needed. Then the second one, sure, it looks good, I just need to discuss this one with my team. Again, you face it really often, so you better be prepared for it. Typically, if you bring this up to them, what would be their opinion? Or something like, yeah, when you bring up solutions like that to them, what they typically say on that. And funny, but what the prospect is going to reply to you is oftentimes the actual objection they themselves have in their head. So for example, oh, you know, when I bring this to John, they're really confused about how the whole migration is happening. That means that these guys are confused, otherwise they would never have said it. So, oh, okay, sure. So what do you think they would say on that? Oh, they would potentially find the migration process challenging. Oh, look, for that we're just gonna do step 1, then step 2, and then step 3. Is everything clear about it? Yeah, cool. Is it simple enough? Yes. Then you proceed. So again, here, this is the way for you to understand the real objection that there is. And third, we already have a tool for this, like 30-40 minutes of them talking to you, and then turns out that oh yeah, you know, some of them already have a tool delivering something like that. And here I put this phrase, your discovery helps you with all this, ! Because it does. The lazier you are in your discovery, the more of these objections you're always going to be having. And I heard a couple people actually advise me that, you know, them saying that objections are a result of poor discovery. And I somewhat agree with that, because if you can ask all the questions, learn the situation in and out, and then just present those parts of the solutions that are actually relevant to them and they want to buy, then the whole sales process becomes much easier. That's why these are just some tools for you to identify real objections, because as long as you truly understand what the person in front of you wants to buy, your entire job is to just easily present this in a clear way to them, make sure that they're aligned on the mechanism, and then close the sale then. So if they say, we already have this tool, the mistake many founders make is they become too defensive about it, and they're like, oh no, this tool sucks, we're so much better, and so on. But this, sounding from you, the person who is the most biased to be saying this, of course, it just ruins your credibility. You don't want to act like that. Instead, you want to acknowledge the positive part about that other solution that they're using, and then bring up customers who used that other solution first, and then the problem with that solution is ABC, so they invested in your solution for those reasons. So for example, imagine I am the founder of HubSpot, and I want to sell HubSpot to someone who's using Salesforce. So, Salesforce is nice because they have this cloud infrastructure and this automated follow-ups. But, as you have shared that the real goal for you this year is to make sure your outbound campaigns are working, the reason why a lot of our existing customers have switched over to HubSpot from Salesforce is because when it comes down to outbound campaigns, the Salesforce are awful with deliverability, and you just don't get to even 1 out of 10 people who you send emails to. That's why what we've done in our solution is we have this protocol and the other one, which allows us to average 70 to 90% deliverability. And when it comes to outbound, it just gets results which are undeniably like a universe ahead. Instead of me just saying that, oh no, those are awful, we're the best, I say, yes, sure, they are good when it comes down to 1 and 2. Then I use the information I gather through the discovery process, and I say that for you, Mr. Prospect, based on where you are trying to get, yes, sure, those 2 things are nice, but that thing number 3 and 4, which are quite weak in your existing solution, is where our strongest point is, and why so many people have switched over to us because of that. So X is nice because ABC, but it sucked for a dream they want because of XYZ. So they got our solution to sort out 1 to 3 and achieve dream outcome. That's again why I put this phrase that discovery is key to everything, because the better job you do through your discovery process, the less work you will need to do after that, because all those hidden objections which are not covered in the demo call then are going to be delaying the sales cycle and then leading to them potentially not replying to your emails for months and ghosting you, which you don't want. And 2 things you can do about it is build such funnel in which you have more leverage and authority by default, so people want to buy from you a lot more than you need to chase them. And that's something you can achieve through a case study ad funnel. And another thing is a couple of things I mentioned here in order for you to close sales much easier, because again, better discovery leads to you being able to handle these objections easier, and then closes you more sales. Appreciate you watching, and talk soon.